Hi everyone, and welcome to today's General Hospital recap. As always, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos or recaps. You ever have one of those days where it's so humid you just need to keep running your hair underwater and then it turns into this mess? Like, it's wet, it's curly, it's wild, it's crazy. So I apologize, but at the same time it feels nice and cool, so I don't apologize as well. Let's get right down to it. At the Metro Court, Jake tells Sam that Nicholas could be charged with corporate espionage because Rosalie is down at the station giving her statement. And Jake also tells Sam about the recorded conversation gag, and apparently a Taylor Swift album, 1989, was on the recorder, so had the recorder had the tape actually been played, it would have been that. So then they have a conversation about T-Swizzle. It's actually really funny. And then the two wet blankets, Patrick and Liz, show up while Jake is dancing to an imaginary Taylor Swift album playing. You never thought you'd heard me say that sentence, now did ya? I can't speak proper English today, apparently. It is 91 freaking degrees out. Alright, so anyway, Liz mentions that Patrick told her Sam was working with ELQ, or at least with Sabrina or something, whatever, and it's like, hello, again, more secrets, now you're telling the people who were supposed to, I can't even get into it. So then Sam explains Nicholas's motives behind taking over the company. And Elizabeth feels really guilty because there's a lot of, talk that applies to her. And they have this whole, how could you keep a secret like that from someone? And how could you hide something like that from someone? And Elizabeth is just feeling so guilty. And then there's more heavy talk about, well, you never know what would push someone to abandon their moral compass. And it's getting to Liz. Like, every single thing is just another arrow to the heart. And I live for every single moment of it. So then Patrick and Elizabeth are like, oh, we're here, because Sam's like, what brings you two here? So they're like, oh, we're here because we just finished up this huge surgery and the patient's gonna pull through. And Sam's like, oh, that's great, we should celebrate. Why don't we all take up on the dinner offer and just go to dinner together right now? So then Jake wants to treat everyone to dinner with his new bonus check, and they have a really enjoyable dinner and talk about their domestic situations. It's even brought up about how Danny and Emma are getting along so well when Sam thought there might be jealousy issues, and Patrick's like, I don't, obviously I'm not his dad, but I'm starting to feel more blah, blah, blah. And Elizabeth is just slinking farther and farther down into her seat. And then Jake tells them that he's actually moving above Kelly's because, they want to take their relationship at the normal pace, and them living together was just really temporary. And then they toast to Jake's new life and their, lives together, and the fact that they all had a part in Jake's new life. Whew, that was a long segment. At ELQ, I know, you've just been waiting for the ELQ news. At ELQ, Nicholas strolls in and takes Michael's seat in his office and puts his feet on the desk. Rude. And if Hannibal wasn't canceled yesterday, you know what the Hannibal fandom does to the Rude. Just saying. By the way, if you could hashtag and tweet Save Hannibal, it would mean so much to me. Anyway, let's get back to General Hospital. So Tracy and Michael threaten him with corporate espionage, and Nicholas doesn't want to talk about it. He wants to talk about bigger and better things. So then Tracy keeps bringing up Emily, and Nicholas says that Emily was way better than all of them, and Tracy treated her horribly, and now blah, 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 blah. And then Nicholas is like, if Michael's doing so good for the company, then why am I standing here with half of it? And Tracy's like, it's not through business deals, it's through blackmail. And she goes down the list of how he got pretty much every single share. And then Nicholas brings Edward into it, and Tracy's like, hells no. No. And she's done at that point. So then Michael and Tracy bring up Lucy Coe. And anyway, so then they say that Lucy's stake comes into play whenever there's a deadlock, so all that Nicholas could ever be is an annoyance to the Quartermaines. So then Nicholas threatens to break apart the family and take, one of those shares, or voting sways. So then Michael brings out Edward's will, and Edward wrote in a loophole that no one individual or sole whatever could have sole control of the company, and if an individual or LLC acquired more than a third of the company, then the majority of the board has the option to strip that person of their voting rights. Very good loophole, Edward. I am so happy. So then Michael says that even though Nicholas would technically still own the shares, he wouldn't have any influence over anything. And then Michael's like, you know what? I'm going to call an emergency meeting right now and vote you out. So then it turns out Monica's on vacation, but she gave Tracy the proxy to her voting proxy for the emergency vote. And then they have their emergency board meeting when Dylan and Lucy arrive. And I will talk about Dylan and Lucy very briefly later in the video, but just this happens. Okay. So Dylan and Lucy arrive. They have their emergency meeting. Nicholas votes nay, of course. The rest of them vote yay, except for Lucy, who votes with Nicholas and supports him, and very disappointing, Lucy. Very, very, very disappointing. At the police station, will Valerie tell Dante about her suspicions between Lulu and Dylan? Dun dun dun. Let's find out. So Dante presses her and asks her what's wrong, and Valerie said it's not about you, it's about Lulu and Dylan. First strike. So then Valerie tries to back down, but she tells Dante she saw Lulu and Dylan hugging, and he's like, so what? They're old friends. And then he pushes her more, and she tells him that she overheard them saying that they're keeping a big secret from everyone, especially Dante. So then Valerie really tries to backtrack and says Lulu was probably just surprised to see me, that's why she was startled, and it's probably nothing, you shouldn't worry about it. And Dante's like, yeah, okay, you're right. Still kind of bothered. So then Dante gets Rosalie's statement from her and tells Valerie that she should look for a new place to live because Nicholas is in really deep with this. And then Valerie apologizes and says she doesn't want to cause any trouble between Dante and Lulu. And he's like, I know, but he's going to talk to Lulu anyway. So then Valerie sees a picture of Dante and Lulu on his desk, and she feels a wee bit guilty, if I do say so myself. Speaking of Lulu, so this is prior to what happened with Lucy Co. later. So this happened earlier in the episode. So Lulu and Dylan talk about Valerie, Dante, and Lucky, and ELQ, and then Lucy Co. shows up, and Dylan gets off the phone with Lulu. So then Maxie comes over to Lulu and Dante's place, and apparently went all the way to New York City to get a haircut, even though logistically the city is about 6 hours away from where Port Charles is, but that's cool. Time warp, loophole. So then Maxie wants to talk about what happened with Valerie, but Lulu already knows, and Lulu kind of lets it slip that she's worried about something more important, and now Maxie wants to know what that is. So then she tries to cover it up and says she's worried about the haunted star, and then she slips and says, Dylan and I can't tell anyone, not even Dante, and Maxie's like, hold up now, is something happening between you and Dylan? So then Lulu tells her to back off, that she can support her by backing off in this case. Maxie agrees, and then Maxie leaves and Dante comes home. So then they start talking, and Dante asks her if she knows what's going on with Nicholas. Well, your brother. She said, what? Nicholas, basically. So she said yes, and then that Nicholas tried to swindle Dylan right in front of her, right here. And Dante's like, oh, so Dylan was here. Why was he here? And she's like, oh, he came over to meet Rocco. And Dante's like, is there anything else? But then he doesn't pursue it. So now Dylan and Lucy, prior to the vote, Lucy Co. comes over. Dylan talks about Luke and Tracy and how she thinks the engagement's back on. Dylan sets her straight, and then Dylan tells Lucy Co. that the fate of ELQ is in her hands. But we know how that turned out. Lucy voted against the family and with Nicholas because she's a huge disappointment to everyone. I hope Felix tells her that because I feel like it would mean a lot coming from Felix. Anyway, Luke and Laura, how much interest do you have in this? Because it's just so weird for me that, like, I don't know. So this lady has issues. Jennifer Smith has major, major issues. There's bad puns, innuendo, and an indecent proposal reference. He tells her to move on, and she tells him that she has, and tells him about some of the past relationships she's had. And then she says the reason she can't let anyone into her heart is because she never got closure with Luke, and that's why she lured him there so that she can sleep with him and get closure about their relationship. So then Laura stands up to Jennifer, and Jennifer goes, what's it to you? And Laura gets real quick, and she's like, this isn't an indecent proposal, this is rape. So then Jennifer's offended, and Laura calls it as she sees it, and she says what Jennifer is doing isn't a business transaction like the movie, the indecent proposal movie. but it's coercion, which makes it rape. And then Jennifer flips it back on Laura and brings up the fact that Luke raped her, basically bringing up a bunch of ugly history. And then Jennifer's like, Laura, doesn't a little part of you want Luke to know what it feels like? And Laura's like, no, because I don't want vengeance or bloodlust. That's not me. That's the difference between us. So then after a solid 2005 reference with Deal or No Deal, Luke agrees to the situation, and Jennifer's like really happy, like creepy happy, and Laura's like, you don't have to do this, and Jennifer's like, oh, there's this hotel by the lake that I've always wanted to have a romantic evening in, my dreams are coming true. And then Luke kind of gives Laura a face as they're walking out the door, and Laura's just standing there kind of defeated, and the whole thing is just like, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's like a 25 in weirdness, basically. But I'm glad Laura called it as she sees it, because I think that's what all of us at home were thinking. Yeah, basically, this show, they are definitely doing something crazy for the summer, let me tell you that. Alright, let's get back out of it. If you liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up. It would mean so much. And I am going to start pushing another Indiegogo campaign, so if you could check out the link, I will try to put it in there today, but if not, I'll have it in there tomorrow. And I hope you have a great day, and if you're in the part of the country where the storms are coming, I hope you stay safe, because we are in storm zone, and I will see you tomorrow for more General Hospital. I hope you have a great day. Bye!